Hi there, it's me again, Jordy at Carving Fusion. Now, here's a shout out for a YouTube channel that's been around for a long time. He's been a subscriber for a long time. I'm a subscriber to his channel too. Dr. LP Lupo, I think it is. I can't remember that well, but I just call him Doc. So, Doc, here's a shout out for you. He's getting into chainsaw carving. He's done lots of Dremel carving. He's getting into chainsaw carving. I'm seeing that he's enjoying it. I believe he has a battery-powered saw, a plug-in saw, and a battery-powered stihl saw. Now, here's a piece of wood that I do not want to carve. This is, it could be known as cottonwood, or what's the name of that other wood? I carved the witch out of it. Poplar wood. This is from the big tree that's getting cut down here. It's pretty wet. Now this is a full round stump, completely round. Now some people in my live streams or whatever has asked me if I've carved full round trees. I'm like, yeah, that's when I first started carving, chainsaw carving, is the full round trees. But personally, I don't think you need to carve the full round trees. I think the half trees look better out of like slabs or whatever, but I'm making this video to show you anybody can carve a tree out of a full round, but I'm going to split this full round in half. If I didn't say it, this is 2 feet tall, 16 inches wide. Do I want to carve this? No, I don't. I got tons of cedar slabs here I could buck up for trees. Christmas times are coming. These make great gifts. And they sell great. I remember one year I think I sold 130 trees or 120 trees or something that I carved. Now, this is the stihl. This is replacing the old MS-70, or what is it? Yeah, the MS-70. This is the stihl MS-162. It's a new stihl saw, okay? So you do not have to have a carving bar to make these trees. All right, you do not. But this has a steel carving bar on here. So this is for the very beginning chainsaw carvers. And I know I repeated on I have to repeat, because if I don't, I get questions in the comments about what saw did I use, what burr did I use, what disc did I use, what sanding thing did I use. So I have to repeat every video what saw is good for the very beginner and what bar. So this is just a steel carving bar. It's upside down. So to get into chainsaw carving, this is in my opinion, this is all you need to get going. This is a stihl MS-162. It might not even be in your carving shop, in your steel shop yet. Just order it. If they say it's on back order, it doesn't matter. Order it anyways. It will show up sooner than later. So the stihl MS-162. This is for gas saws. This is a steel carving bar. So order this too. At the same time you buy the saw. They'll say it's on. They'll go on their computer, and they'll be like, oh, they probably won't. Good chance they won't even know about carving bars that stihl has, because they don't. Lots of stihl dealers don't carry these carving bars. They have to order them. So just say, I'd like to order this. I'd like to buy this saw, which is like 240 Canadian dollars. This bar is 12 inches. It's quarter pitch. The sprocket inside that comes with this saw comes with a 3/8 sprocket. Okay? If you want to use this steel bar, you'll have to order the quarter pitch sprocket. All right? That's 1-4. So just order the quarter pitch sprocket. Order this bar, 50 gauge. This bar comes, it doesn't come in different lengths, like it doesn't come shorter, but it comes thinner, so the chain's thinner. So you can get 50 gauge chain or the old 4-3 gauge chain. Now these bars come in 50 gauge bar or 043 gauge bar. If you want the thinner chain, order the 043 bar and the 043 gauge chain. If you want the thicker chain, order the 50 gauge chain and the 50 gauge bar. Okay, I'm not too sure. I don't think the 043 fits on the 50 or the 50 fits on the 043. I don't think so. So just, this is what you got, a pen and paper. Buy this saw, the MS162. Okay, it's brand new. Order the quarter pitch sprocket. Quarter pitch, I need to order a quarter pitch sprocket. Take out this 3/8 sprocket, put in the quarter pitch sprocket. Super easy to do, your steel dealer can do it. Order the steel carving bar, 50 gauge if you want the thicker chain, or 043 gauge if you want the thinner chain. I suggest the thicker chain because it works better when you're using the tip of the bar doing this. Now, battery saws. This is Stihl MSA 70C. This is the newer saw. It's replacing, I think, the old 60C. So all you need to do is just order this saw. This saw comes with a kit. It comes with the saw, a rechargeable battery, and a battery charger. Okay? Here's the battery right here. There. That's the battery that fits in it. Now, all you need to do is when you buy this saw, like I said, it comes with the charger, it comes with the battery. When you buy this saw, it already comes with the quarter pitch sprocket, so you do not need to change the sprocket on this, okay? All you need to do is just order yourself the steel carving bar. Now again, the 043 gauge chain or bar if you want it thinner, or the 50 gauge chain if you want it thicker. That explains all. All right, so this is what I suggest for the very beginners that cannot fire chainsaws and be loud and gas. This is quiet. It's a lot quieter. There's no smoke, there's no emissions, no nothing. Canola oil, that's what I use lots of the time. If I have canola oil, let's see. Canola oil, cornholio oil is what I use, or I use normal bar oil. I basically use the oil that I have here. But if I'm going to run my bigger saw, like my 500i, I will use normal bar oil because the normal bar oil has a sticky agent to it and it makes the oil stick better to the chain. But I usually use this stuff. All right, it's cheaper, and for health-wise, for all the hippies out there, it's better putting the oil back into the ground or whatever. All right. Now, I'm going to be, anybody can do this. So I said this bar does not go across the top. So you can cut it down here, go all the way down, come over here, then cut it down. You only have a little bit you need to cut down, and boom, your log's split. But I got my Echo saw here. I'm going to split it with that. Now I want to show you how I think when I'm doing this stuff like this. So I look at the overhead. I already got this white line on because that's where I'm going to cut it. But if I look at the overhead, now this is an axe crack. That's for my axe, because this log was just sitting outside my shop where my ashtray tin was. But there's cracks here and here. So I think this piece right here would be good for a tree. So I'm going to slice it down right here, get rid of this whole back. You know, you always could like slice it. Let's give you the bigger, I can't give you the bigger view here. You could always slice it down here, cut it here, have a little landscape thing here, and your tree would be back here. So your tree would be back here, and then you could make this like rocks and put some moss on there and put some gnomes there or something. But I'm just going to slice this right down. Now I got to make sure I'm filming in not 8K because my app doesn't edit in 8K. Okay, so no cracks here. Lots of different weird cracks on this side. So this side's going to be gone. Now, I can't really see here, but I think the center of the wood is right here. See that crack there? Yeah, that's the center of the log. So I definitely want to make sure I want to carve on this side of the crack, because If you have that center of the log in there, what's it called? I don't know, the heart. Your wood will crack a lot more. So just get rid of that. So if this was a good log and it's solid on both sides, right? Both sides good, and you split it down the middle, you're going to get 2 trees out of it. But so one side's going to have the center of the wood in there. So say this side doesn't have it, but this side does have it. All you do is you split it in half, then get your saw when this piece is gone and this one's still standing, get your saw and cut out that center of the wood. You know, the trees, I've carved lots of 3 full dimensional trees. Like I said, I like the 2D trees better. So all you would do is just get your saw and cut. See that? I think it's the center. Just cut that out. Just do a cut this way, cut that way, and just that, like a little V groove. Get rid of the center. Less chance of it cracking. Now, this is fuzzy, furry wood, and I don't want to carve it, but I'm showing you guys you can make trees out of any type of wood. So let me fire up the saw. I'm going to be wearing my dust mask anytime I'm carving with a saw, cutting with a saw, or carving. So I might have to do some voiceovers or just do some music. So I'm going to do cut straight down here, get rid of this back piece, and keep this piece. Sorry, I forgot to say, here's a metal wedge, or you can get your plastic wedges. If you do not have a big enough chainsaw to split the log, just get your wedge, put it in there, hit it with a sledgehammer, split the log. The back of the log does not need to be pretty because this will go against somebody's wall. So what I'm doing here is just removing the bark. I've realized that it came off pretty easy just with a pry bar and a little sledgehammer. It's a lot easier to pull the bark off this way than it would be if it was hard to get off. If it was hard to get off, I'd use my friggin' chainsaw to get it off. But I'd cut inside the bark, so you're not cutting through the bark, but you're cutting the wood. Bark carries a lot of sand and a lot of dirt and stuff like that too, so it's just a lot better for your saw. I'm going to be straight up here. This was not the best tree. When I'm finally done the tree here, it's definitely not the best tree I ever carved. I should have just taken for the very beginners, I should have just taken the easy route and just kind of carved a standard tree. But I always kind of got to make it complicated. That saw here is the Ryan Cook's favorites. This is Ryan Cook's daily use saw. This is what he'll use instead of the new 162. This is the 501P. It's not cutting very fast here. That comes with I got that saw cheap, brand new on Marketplace for $250. So it's like an 800 Canadian dollar saw. It's the original bar. An original chain. I haven't even sharpened it or anything. Just I've even cut a few times with it. If you look, when you get a new saw, a gas saw, it takes, I don't know how many tanks of gas, but you got to break the engine in, the motor. You got to break the motor in through whatever, like 10 tanks of gas or something, and finally the pistons will piston or whatever it is will run more freely. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, but the saw is brand new and it hasn't been opened up yet. So that's why I got the original bar on there. I'll eventually switch to a carving bar. Now you can see how fine that sawdust is. Here's a shout out to Evo Rick. I remember we were talking about this on a live a long time ago. See how fine it is? So lots of people, because I'm cutting down on the grains, so lots of people will call this a rip cut. I don't know what else to call it. But pretend if you're looking at that piece of wood, there's 5 billion little straws going up and down, and you're cutting into the ends of the straws, so you're cutting against the grain. That's definitely the slowest cut. Doing a cut like that into the grain. Now, I don't know if that's a real rip cut because you're not really, well, you're more or less shredding the tops of the straws. And that's why you get the little sawdust. And just so you guys know, like, yeah, this could be called a ripping cut. A cross cut is when you cut across the grains. Um, I'm gonna, once I get this cut in half, I'm gonna lie down the other log flat and do a little bit of a rip cut so you guys can see the difference when you're, because when you do a real rip cut, you're ripping the wood because you're carving with the grains. I wasn't excited about carving this wood at all. Like, why carve bronze? Why carve nickel when you can carve gold? Like Western Red Cedar's gold for me for carving. But I just wanted to show everybody that you can make a carve a tree out of. Now look at those stringers coming out there. That's because you're cutting with the grain. Okay? You're cutting with the straws. Now the straws are all lying down. You're cutting on the sides of them. So there's the difference. Cutting with the grain and cutting with the straws and cutting the top of the straws. Just a little point I wanted to make, not a big deal. So you beginning carvers, that might help you out a little bit. All right, so there's your log cut in half. Now I'm going to have to do a voiceover to talk about when you're ripping the wood. How I showed the sawdust. Now, you can do any kind of tree you want. There's so many different ways to do trees. I kind of have my basic way I do it. You can make it so it's like a windy day tree. You can make it windy this way. You can make it windy that way. You can have it up and down. I think we're just gonna, you can make it so down here is the stump and the tree comes down here. There's so many different ways to do it. I do have some screws up and under here to hold this in place. So, because this is wet. Let's see here, so you guys can see on camera. I think we'll just kind of give this one, you know, you can make, this thing even filming? Why is the screen so dark? Is my battery dying? Stand by. Oh boy, I only have a few percent of battery left. So, just, you can make it so like, there's a base down here. Is this on camera? Let's see. You can make it so like this is a base down here and then the roots of the tree come down. So draw your tree on. So center, and then you want to cut it so it's like this. From both sides. You don't want to cut it straight. You want to give it movement. So find your center mark up top. Man, I gotta charge my freaking phone. What a nightmare. Okay, so you see, you want to cut it so you give it movement. Then your bottom of your tree will be here and you got a little tree trunk. Then you can make it so the roots come down, but you got to push your tree trunk back farther in. Yeah, I got to charge this. So see how I'm pulling the saw? My top hand on the grip there, I'm pulling it. That's how you turn in the wood. You either pull or you push. So I want the bar to tilt out to get that curve in the tree. So there, right now I'm going to pull the top of the handle. Sometimes I'm not filming very good. Fire the cameraman. But I'm pulling the top of the handle to get the bottom of the bar to curve out. I'm trying to paint while I'm doing this voiceover. I'm going for, me and my buddy Stu are going to go get some cottonwood bark tomorrow. So see there, by pulling that, that's how you can get the bar to turn in the wood. Now I'm pulling again. If you pull the top, like don't pull too much, like you don't want to break anything. But pull it so you can feel the bar turning in the wood. You can see it. Now if you don't have a carving bar, you can like go up and down really quick and then kind of just slowly turn it. You don't have to have carving bars to do this. So that's from me pulling the top of the saw on the handle. That's how you get that the curve. Yeah, like I say earlier in the video, and here's just thinning it down from the top, and I'm gonna pull. See that? I'm gonna pull the top of the handle, like till it feels comfortable, and then the bottom of the bar will curve out. I should have really sharpened this. I thought this chain should have been sharp, but I don't think it was too sharp. And just when you're doing the trees, just do the best you can. Try and no straight lines. So now I'm pulling. So if you pull the bottom of, if you pull the top of, so if you push the top of that bar over, it's going to want to pull the bottom of the bar out. This was actually a really shitty piece of wood to carve. So, or I'm pulling or pushing, but it's hard to explain, but if you have a saw, try it, and it probably will help you a lot. That's why these carving bars are good for, well, that's why they're called carving bars, because they're a lot thinner. Not like chain thin, but they're a lot not as wide, and they just turn a lot better in the wood. Now, I don't know why this, I always seem when I'm chainsaw carving, or even Dremel carving, filming, it's harder to film. Like, kind of see how bright that is when I'm carving the whiter wood. I had the door open in the tent. I also had a LED light on at the side there for when I sharpen my saws, and it kind of just gives a weird glow. So what I'm basically doing is just roughing out the bottom of the tree, so it would be like kind of doing a gnome or a mushroom. I didn't really need to do that. I kind of, especially for the very beginners, it helps a lot to have a plan. I kind of went into this without a plan, and it's been a few years since I carved a tree like this, so I shouldn't have tried to show how to carve a tree like this, I guess you could say. Just being honest. Now I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, there I closed the door. You can see the lighting's better. So this tree will have a smaller stalk. And I was trying to make it so the roots would roll down it. But see that knot on the bottom left-hand side there? That dark patch? That wood in there is all rotten, about 5 inches deep inside there. So on the left-hand side there, you can see that line there. I'm going to block that out. I'll start on the right-hand side. Yeah, kill the cameraman. Not kill the cameraman, I mean fire the cameraman. So I'm just blocking it out. I should have just done a normal tree, but it is what it is, and no regrets. And I'm not ashamed to show you guys I carved a shitty tree on this YouTube video. Hopefully you can learn from things that I said about chainsaws earlier, or you can learn pushing and pulling with the saw, how it makes you turn in the wood. So I got that side blocked out. And just moving the camera so you guys can see better. This wood's soaking wet. Just cutting off all the old gray stuff. This saw, I did have an original release cut in the back of it. That's why I cut it in half. Because I had a release cut in the very back of the tree, which was once the back, so it wouldn't crack as much. And I think the release cut did work. So there's one cut. So I could have saved this tree just by cutting straight down and make it look like a big huge stalk. I always could. Well, the tree's at home now. Here's a plunge cut. Start with your tip down, your saw raised down, plunge in, then plunge in and get her out. It's easy to do bad cuts when you're doing cuts like this. I don't really want to explain it, but you can cut too much. If you look at the bottom right hand corner there where the tree trunk meets the flat surface, that's like a cut too much. You can just keep on removing it, the wood, to get rid of that cut, but you got to kind of be careful, I guess you could say. Like I said, this was probably not the best example. I should have just made a simple tree and tried to, without doing the roots and stuff like that. I should have done the roots and all that stuff like that when I knew I had a solid piece of cedar. Shout out to Ben's studio on the lake. Old Benny boy. I haven't talked to him for a good year, I think. I don't know what he's up to. Maybe he's just kind of done with the YouTube thing and just living a normal life. I know that his wife passed away, and I don't know if I should really talk any more about it, but I sure miss that Ben. I miss his videos. I learned a lot about wood carving from him. He still has his videos up, Ben's studio on the lake. Good old Just Carve Rob there. Hi, Rob. Gonna get some cottonwood bark tomorrow. Probably send you a couple pieces. You probably already have 50 pieces of bark stashed away in all your man caves that you got. But I'll send you some more. Just kind of shaping the tree. And like I wasn't really rushing here or trying to do anything. I was just basically had my music going in my earbuds, listening to music and just doing whatever. Just slowly shaping the tree. Now, this is where I kind of regret doing that cut. I should have went out more, make it look like roots. But here's the thing too. I didn't want to have to pull out my die grinder and use that. So I just, the bottom line is what it is. As long as you're having a good time, really, and being safe, nothing else should really matter. You can see it kind of looks like a tree. Just getting rid of all the old wood stuff on the outside. See that cut? See how I just got rid of that bad cut with the tip of my bar? Be very careful for the very beginners. Remember that friggin' chainsaw chain, I hate to say it, but it will take your arm off. So just always remember to be safe. And yeah. So hopefully I get lots of bark tomorrow. I don't even really need any bark. I still got tons, but I guess it's good to have. The cottonwood bark is not cheap to buy. I might even see how much I get tomorrow. I think I'm going to give a few pieces away. I'll ship it around the world. So some people that don't have the chance to carve the cottonwood bark, will have a chance to carve it. The thing with the bark, when you're shipping it, you got to make sure that there's no spiders in it, no bugs in it at all, no bug holes in it at all, because it will get refused at the border. So the few pieces that I'll send out to a winner or two will get real nice bark from British Columbia, Canada. There's another plunge cut. I just kind of cut the back of the tree away. Didn't really need to, but it just kind of gives another effect that there's background behind the tree. So like I said, hey Doc, if you're going to do something like this, kind of have a better plan. Even draw it out first, what you want to do. That's a good habit to get into. All right, so I had a little bit of problems. Here's the side view so you can see the angles and stuff. I had a little bit of problems here because you don't have to do a tree like this. Do a tree however you want to do. But all right in here, this was rotten. hole in here, so I had to, it's still a little bit rough, but it was getting solder. I had to keep carving deeper and deeper, so that's what I got. Looks more like a mushroom now, but we'll make it look like a tree. You know, it would look better if your roots came down here. Give them lots. This is just kind of basic, but it doesn't matter. I'm not carving this to sell it. I'm carving this just because I want to carve it. And also I realized when I was cutting into this that this is willow wood. It's that swamp willow tree that was cut down there. It's not the poplar or cottonwood. So, you know, you see, when you do the trees, like say for example, let me get a bigger one here. These were some cedar slab trees that I roughed out. Let me just blow it off here. Watch your ears, watch your eyes. You know, doing the trees, this was one big piece of wood, so you're removing you're wasting lots of wood when you do the trees. Like pretend this was a piece here, so all this whole piece came out. So the thinner that you make the top, and the more swoosh, like don't just cut it. That's what I was showing, and I'll do it in the voiceover, about pushing and pulling and making those carving bars are good for turning in the wood. If you don't have a carving bar, just lift it up and slowly lift it up, cut, and let it turn in the wood to get this. Sometimes you can do the first cut straight, then you can come back when you got less wood, thin it out. Just find your happy spot. That's like, I don't know what else I can suggest. If you got to keep cutting it to get the shape that you want, it's taking off little pieces, fine, then so be it. You're having fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it. So this is that, this is an 8-inch dime tip Cannon bar. Bob King sells these in United States. Ryan Cook sells them in Canada. This is that battery saw, the MSA 70C. So there's so many different ways you can do I do not want to spend much time on this piece. There's so many different ways you can do the tree branches. You know, you can have a center line here, and then you can keep coming out from the center line. Or you can, I think I'm going to do the most basic way today. You can go like this to start, then go have these kind of things. Right? There's just so many different ways you can do it. And then the bark, I'm just going to get my saw and do some cuts like this. Then I'll burn it. About this background, I don't know. I don't even know if this tree makes sense, but no, I got some new pens. Now, where's the lid for this pen? That's right, I got a friggin' hole in my pocket. One day I was walking around my house, I was like, how come these dimes, like, you know, like in, well, you have in America dimes too, the little dimes. I'm like, how come these dimes are all over the floor? Then I picked them all up. The next day there was more dimes on the floor. Well, I realized that I have holes in these pockets just big enough for a dime to get through. So yeah, I can't put change. Yeah, look, there's a dime hole right here. Anyways, so let's fire up the saw. So I'm going to do a deep cut here first. Deep cut, deep cut, deep cut, deep cut. So one cut straight in, then remove the wood. Let's see, I gotta try and get this camera better for you guys. See, gotta kind of put it off this side here. So anyways, so let's try this. So deep cut. Now, I thought this bar was short, but it's not. This chain was short. Okay, so I got all my deep cuts, and they'll be good for when I'm going to do the wood burning. So now we cut straight in, true to the line. Now we want to come in with our bar at an angle and remove the wood. So this will be one whole branch here. Now we'll switch it to the other side. You can do some. Okay, so stand by. I got to sharpen this chain. You know, when you keep your chains sharp, it's a lot easier on the saw, it's a lot easier on the wood, and it's a lot easier on you. Yeah, this is a mushroom tree. So I just want to go over this saw for a minute. This is basically the same thing as the older, what is it, the 60 something. This just has speed control, but when I'm using this battery saw, the chain spins a lot slower than gas saws. So sometimes these saws plug up, like all the sawdust will plug up in here where the chain is and stuff like that. So I love this. This is hooked up to a compressor. It's just an air nozzle. Sometimes it's good to just get it in here, stop carving. You'll see a bunch of gunk come out there. So there's just a tip. This is really handy to have any type of wood carving or anything. Then these saws also eat up a lot of oil. So it's good to, I do not run real bar oil in here. I just run canola oil in here. So that's all you need. Well, speed control. But it already runs so slow, so I don't even really use the speed control. So now, I guess I should get a pen. I might as well use this one where it locks the cap. Now, I got my deep cuts in here. So I just do one cut first on each one. So that will be my first cut. Then I just follow that and I come out. Where do you want this bottom one to go? You go like this and then one deep cut on each one. Then I just do a bunch of random cuts. Okay, so let's start at the top here. It's a little bit square. We can shape that a bit better. I know sometimes it's a big difference filming for Dremel carving than to chainsaw carving. Sometimes it's hard to get the proper angles. So I did my first cut. Now I just do a bunch of other cuts and just kind of don't use the tip of the bar. Like, don't go straight in. Use the side of the chain. Let's just go to the other side. You know, if you have a die grinder, you could also do this with the die grinder at this point. You see what I'm doing? The back cut like this? Be careful because you don't want it to slip out, come back and boom, hit your face. You know, if you don't like something on it, it's not a big deal. It's only a friggin' tree. It's not the end of your life. All right, so let's get these roots down here. I mean, the tree trunk. Again, using the side of the chain. Come to the other side. Just be comfortable. This is all sapwood where the white wood is, so it's obviously still wet. Now I'll clean this up, pull out a flaps. You could carve this into rocks or carve a friggin' flower here if you want to, but I'm just going to flap sand this round, smooth it out, clean up this fuzzy stuff. Well, I'm going to burn it. This is going to be a deep burning piece. So I will be back. Yep. Thanks for the coffee, Lance. So here's the thing. Do I love this tree? No, absolutely not. I haven't done too many trees with the stuff coming down. You know, you could cut this stalk so it doesn't come, the trunk so it doesn't come down, just make it so it lands on this piece of wood, then carve all this. This would be a whole face, and push this trunk back. You know, hopefully you've been able to learn some tips about making the top thinner. This whole tree is just right out of whack, and it was just all the rotten wood in here. It just took me through a loop too. So, you know, even though I don't like it, I still sign it. I'm keeping this one. I got a plan for it. So then when I was done this, I had some pine wood. I got some from my buddy in Merritt. So then I carved this. This is a normal tree. It's a lot easier to carve these type of trees than doing stuff like this, like that. So then I really like this. There's no burn on it or nothing. I really love the, this would be like, I think it might be beetle pine, where the beetles got on there, and they call it blue pine or something, where it's supposed to look blue, but this stuff's gray. I don't know what it is, but this is pine wood, signed it. And I love the, different colors in the wood. This is like old gray weathered, and this is like the natural color. I think this would be Ponderosa pine. I'm not too sure. So I really like the grain in this wood, the way the colors in it. So then I carved this one. This is your typical Christmas slope tree. But then, you know, I thought, well, the colors in the wood just kind of go like this, because the tree would stand like this. They'd kind of just go like this. But I don't really like the way if this gray turned in the wood with the cuts, that would look super cool. But I got a couple more pieces, so I won't do any more Christmas trees like this, the Windy Day Christmas trees with this pine wood. I'll just cut it straight up like this. Now I got there's lots of people with how to carve trees on YouTube videos. I should have really done one like this, but I think the biggest tip that I can give the new carvers, the first tip is be safe. Your protective, what do they call it? PPE, PP poo-poo, protective gear, your safety glasses. I just use my real glasses. I got earplugs in. All right, the earplugs. If you want to wear gloves, I like to have my hands on the saw, so I got more control, like skin to plastic or rubber. And steel toe shoes or boots, chainsaw pants, chaps, and yeah, well, ear muffs or whatever. So the biggest tip I can give the beginning carver or artist, I'm still learning as I go. Don't be afraid to think that you can do it, because you can. Might suck for a little while, like that tree. Might suck for a little while, but the more you do, I promise you, the better you're going to get and the faster you're going to get. Don't worry about speed to start. Worry about safety. Worry about, not worry, but pay attention how to use the tip of that bar, how that chain cuts, when you need to sharpen it, maintenance on the saws. But safety is the most important. Trees are good for the very beginners. Lets you learn how to use the tip of your bar and blend everything together. It lets you how to do these cuts. I showed you, push and pull. That's what I started out carving, I think, was trees when I first got my chainsaw. I think the first thing I carved, I seen Ryan Cook doing it on social media, and I said, I got to carve one of those trees. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say, but challenge yourself. Try different things. I'm just going to show you the ones I got blocked out here. Like these are, I could have easily got a slab and carved out one of these trees for you, but I just thought I'd show you how to carve. Cut the stump in half. Do whatever you want. It's your creation. Open your mind. Be creative. Don't rush things like I do. Carve Fusion. Over and out. Oh yeah, remember I told you guys I had a plan for this tree and I'm going to keep it? Well, here's my plan. I'm going to put it in my upstairs bathroom. It's going to be my shit wipe holder. Yeah. That's it. Don't shit your pants. Told ya.